Divesting gone disrespectful. Maya Angelou. Can you believe that Maya Angelou once said that she did not agree with interracial marriage? Why lie? Maya Angelou, born Marguerite Annie Johnson, April 4, 1928 to May 28, 2014, was an American memoirist, poet, and civil rights activist. She was active in the Black civil rights movement and worked closely with Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. She was an advocate for LGBT rights and fought for same-gender marriage for many years. In her writings, Maya confronts the insidious effects of racism and segregation in America at a very young age. She internalizes the idea that blonde hair is beautiful and that she is a fat black girl trapped in a nightmare. Maya Angelou, or Marguerite Johnson, was married 3 times in her lifetime. Her first husband, Anastasius Tosh Angelos, was of Greek descent. Not much is known about him other than that he was a sailor, a struggling musician, and a former electrician. The couple was married in 1951. Unfortunately, like many interracial marriages at the time, theirs was not always easy. Her mother disapproved of the union. California repealed anti-miscegenation laws in California, where they lived in 1948, but it didn't stop the stigma and judgment the couple would face. Despite the challenges, the couple did their best to make their circumstances work. Many assumed that during her first marriage, she and Tosh would bring Maya's only son, Clyde Guy Johnson, into the world, but Clyde was born before the couple was married in 1951. Maya was concerned about her orientation and decided to test herself and see if she liked intercourse with men. After the awkward affair, she would later become pregnant and give birth to Guy. Angelou's mother, Vivian Baxter, was absent during much of her early childhood. But they grew closer as she got older, and when Angelou became unexpectedly pregnant at 16, she was very supportive. Angelou remembered, she asked me, "Do you love the boy?" I said no. "Does he love you?" I said no. "Well, there's no point in ruining 3 lives. We're going to have us a baby." When her son was born, Baxter, a trained nurse, delivered him, holding her daughter's hand and telling jokes to help her through the labor. At the age of 18, Maya Angelou moved to California from Arkansas, hoping to make a new life for her and her infant son, Clyde Guy Johnson. She held a series of jobs as a cook and a waitress before becoming a madam for 11 people. The business was very lucrative for Maya Angelou, but short-lived after a disagreement with the couple, fearing arrest and losing custody of her son. Maya Angelou returned to California, this time engaging in the business as an escort herself. Her accounts include working as an escort in a brothel for Mexican wage laborers. She was then able to get a job at the Purple Onion. While working at the Purple Onion and honing her craft as a dancer and singer, Tosh Angelos worked various odd jobs to make ends meet. She trained and worked diligently to perfect her skill as a calypso dancer, so much so that Maya received a scholarship and trained with the famous Trinidadian dancer Pearl Primus in 1952. Unfortunately, the couple's relationship begins to sour, and as far as we know, it wasn't because of Maya's success. Maya Angelou grew up religious, and her devotion to God and her spiritual being were a big part of her life. On the other hand, Tosh didn't share the same sentiment. He was an atheist, putting a rift between them. Eventually, the relationship ended, and the pair divorced in 1954, which caused Maya Angelou a great deal of pain. The divorce would force Maya further into her work. Despite her regret, Maya never looked back. Maya's next white husband. Paul Dufault met Maya Angelou in Soho in 1971 at a literary event for her best-selling autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. They married in 1974 and exchanged vows 2 further times, but divorced in 1983. They remained friends, and Angelou helped Dufault financially during his later years. On how Maya met Paul, this tall, handsome Englishman came up and asked if I were alone, Maya recalls. I said, "Yes, why?" And he told me I was the most beautiful woman in the world, and could he take me to dinner, right now? Well, we've never been apart a single night since, except for professional commitments. Angelou said they married 3 times because loved each other that much. Maya stands 6 feet tall. Paul is 5'11" 1/2 inch. The idea of legalization, marriage, was Paul's. But he never white-mailed me, Angelou, notes Riley. He said that if I were British or he black he'd be agreeable to merely live together. But with the difference in cultures, he wanted to make a public statement. So, we married. What's more, Maya says, we like the wedding ceremony so much and love each other so much that we've been married twice since. Writing in 1997, Angelou described her marriage to Paul as the marriage to end all my marriages. They were a rather eccentric, loving, unusual couple, determined to live life with flair and laughter. She remained friends with Dufour, and according to Germaine Greer, helped him financially during his latter years in California. Angelou on how she had to check those opposed to her interracial marriage. A pretty little white girl came up to me and said that she adored my writing but didn't believe in interracial marriage. I looked at her and thought of what my son's life would be like if he were married to her. So I said, honey, neither do I, Maya Angelou revealed. So she only opposes interracial marriage when it involves black men. Doesn't that sound familiar? Divesters are all the same. The Maya Angelou story.